hydro flasks really keep my water ice cold.
That's nice.
These hydro flasks keep my coffee piping hot.
Yeah.
So they do,
Yeah.
you do both.
They do both.
You take a clip of each, and there you go.
Boom,
Oh.
making millions, baby.
This blueberry puree is just the right.
It's just the right temperature.
All day long.
This Met Cafe coffee is only $1, but it tastes like a $5.
Is that a $5 milkshake? Is that a $5 coffee? What do they put in that coffee? Bourbon?
I hope so. Make the podcast go by real nice.
Yes, indeed. Oh, I'm gonna put my.
You know what's weird about this cup? It says it's established in 1993. I always find that weird when something's established and it's kind of recently.
Right.
It freaks me out.
A little kind of pet peeve there, right? With,
Yeah.
Like,
You know what I mean?
like, yeah, established in 2001. I mean,
Yeah, all right.
okay.
Hold your horses.
Yeah,
If you're
right.
gonna put that on something, wait at least like 20, 30 years.
Right, exactly. Wait for the silver anniversary, and then you start to like put
Oh, I
that
guess
up.
though, that's 20 years ago.
That is actually a pretty long time. Would that be considered a classic automobile or an antique? I'm not sure where the line
Oh, yeah,
is.
I don't know.
But so the McCafe was 1993.
Established in 1993.
Okay, because McDonald's was
Yeah, they've
established
been
in
around
1993. Because I remember that in
forever.
83
Yeah.
and even 73. I remember that too. 63 I wasn't around, so I don't remember that. But I'm pretty sure that they were around.
Okay.
So yeah.
Alright, well, we should probably talk about running.
We should talk about running because this is the podcast about running.
Yeah. So, first off, how the heck have you been, man? When did we talk last? I mean, we kind of were late on the last one. weren't we?
Yeah, a few days. It's been a really good few days, I have to say. You know, all around, I feel good. Health-wise, like kids are doing well. It's been a good week.
That's good, man.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
Because do you have your kids at home? Or is your wife at home?
My wife is on
Vacation
vacation.
going on? Yeah.
My kids were on. They had like a nice long, like a President's Day long
Oh,
weekend.
yeah.
So they had 4 days. My wife is still actually currently off, so she's doing some things without anyone. She's getting some quality me time. Is what she's getting. And the kids are doing well. They're back in school, and it's Friday, and guess what? They've got a weekend. So
Nice.
Yeah,
How
so
about that? It's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun.
time flies when you're having fun. I had a nice run yesterday. I want to share this with folks. It was I decided to get out there on the trails just to mix it up.
Oh,
you know?
interesting. See, I was going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
I ran on the trail this morning.
Yeah, and it was great. Monday I ran on the treadmill to mix it up, and then I ran on the road Tuesday and Wednesday, and Thursday got out there, ran into the trails.
Was it like snowy? And
Well-
icy? Because when I ran today, it was like a mess.
Was it? Yeah, I actually, so it snowed overnight, and it snowed, and then it was a little sleet, a little freezing rain, and then the temperature rose. So it was snow, like maybe like 4 or 5 inches of snow. So everything was covered, but it was really slushy when I went out there. But it was cool. Sloshing around, totally got wet everywhere. You know, it was neat. This is the woods near where I live, and so it's not a huge trail system, but it's nice. So I was going up hills, going down hills, doubling back, doing loops, and it's good.
Yeah, it's nice to mix it up every once in a while.
Yeah, it's really pretty too. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. See, did you feel high?
I think I sort of got the runner's high there at one moment.
All right, nice.
Yeah, I started out was kind of sluggish, and then I felt good. I felt good, like into it.
That's good. That was like the opposite of my experience today.
Really?
Yeah. When I went on the trails, it was more icy than it was sloshy, which makes sense because it's cold.
Yeah, the temp went down, and all that stuff just kind of freezes
Froze
up.
up.
and-
Yeah, so it had like went down a path that a lot of people had walked down, so like all the footprints were all frozen up. So like I couldn't run there, and then I tried to run on the side, and it was like angle, so it was like slippery, and then it was just like, eh. So I kind of got in there, and then I got out pretty quick because I was a little frustrated with it.
It gets a little frustrating when it's like that.
Yeah.
When you don't get your footing, you can't get your footing.
Ugh.
I almost went down yesterday a couple of times too, because it was so slushy that I was slipping and sliding around. And I did kind of quickly turn my ankle once through, but it was, I righted myself.
Yeah. You have ankles like rubber bands.
My ankles are okay, but every once in a while I'll be out there on the trails and even on the roads, and I'll turn them, and
Yeah.
I guess they're not much like rubber bands, but occasionally I'm vulnerable, so gotta watch it. Nothing worse than twisting your ankle.
Oh no, just ask that basketball player guy.
Oh,
That's brutal.
Gordon Hayward.
No, the
No.
you didn't see this? The Zion Williams kid.
This must have been just the other night.
It was just the other night. He was playing basketball. He was it was like 30 seconds into the game. He made a cut, and his shoe.
No, I did. I saw that, and President Obama was at it,
Yeah.
and they have a cool. He showed him in slow motion. It's like, shoe broke. He said his shoe broke or something like that.
Yeah,
it just kind of exploded.
I was like, dang.
Oh.
The Nike guy who designed that shoe.
Ah man, exploding shoes. Are those are like exploding cigars? Is that what it is?
I
It's
think
like,
maybe it was like a little.
It's
prank.
like a gag gift, you know. It's
Yeah.
like the handshake buzzer or something like that.
I felt bad. I felt bad. He sprained his knee too.
So he did hurt himself.
Yeah.
Wow, brutal.
Yeah.
Was he? Well, so he must have been out of the game for the rest of the.
Yeah, I think he's
night.
out of the game. He's probably out for a couple days.
Oh, he's a phenom too. He's going to go pro next year, I think.
I bet Nike might have to write him a big old check for
I
an
would say-
endorsement
I would-
package, I would think.
Yeah, I would suppose they probably want to keep things on the down low as far as what caused that.
Yeah.
So, oh my.
Goodness. Anyway,
hey.
you're digressing today.
Yeah, we're talking about basketball, and we really should talk about running, but maybe that's another podcast.
Right.
What,
Talking
as runners, what other sports are you fanatical about? Do you enjoy? That's another day. I'm just throwing that out there.
I like
Right,
that.
we'll revisit this at some time.
Totally.
But so yeah, podcast. You gotta reel it in here.
Yeah, we were talking about running rituals.
Running rituals, yes.
Right. So like, this is like things you kind of do on the regular, right? Before you head out for a run, or maybe before a race.
Yeah, right. Before you head out on any run or on race day,
Yeah.
things that you do ritualistically or something that you do, you know, like every time. Are there certain things that you need to do? Yeah.
I have to eat something.
Okay.
I can't
Always.
pretty much always. Like if I don't eat something, then my run's awful. And even if it's like something little, like I don't know, like a thing of like peanut butter crackers, or like a banana, or like a piece of toast, like something. I have to have something in me. And then I used to have to drink coffee, like caffeinated coffee, to get me up and going.
But you've kicked
I've
that
kicked
habit.
the caffeine.
You kicked that
I've
caffeine
kicked
habit.
the caffeine habit, so I don't
Okay.
necessarily need coffee. But I do like to have like a decaf coffee before I go. It's not like a need, it's a want
Okay.
before I head out. But a ritual, I would eat something. Like I get up, have like a little snack, and go. I can't just put on clothes and run out the door.
Okay. My wife's like that. We were talking about that beforehand, you know, earlier, because I was asking her, and she has to eat. She has to. So which means that she has to get up a little bit earlier, because she usually runs in the morning, and then she has to eat. You know, she has to make her tea, and then she has to make, and typically the same thing.
Yeah.
Like a peanut butter toast, some oatmeal, banana's big. And then she has to wait a certain amount of time because she can't go right out and run afterward.
Yep.
So it is a ritual for her. And I know a lot of people like that.
Yeah, it
you
can
know.
get tricky. Like sometimes I would meet folks. I mean, way back in the day, I used to meet Martin Ty. He's an awesome runner from around here. We used to meet at like 4:30 in the morning. He worked at like a high school or something.
Yeah.
And so I would have to get up at like 3:30 or 4 o'clock and do my little ritual of eating. I also have to go to the bathroom too. That's like another thing. Like I can't eat and then go. I have to eat, go to the bathroom, and then go.
And then go. Okay.
So it takes me a bit of time to get going. But yeah, so if we're meeting at 4:30, then I'm up at like 3:30 eating, which is like silly. It's silly.
I mean, but the thing is you know how you know yourself. You know how your body works. You know, it's an experiment of one. You probably had experiences where you went out and you didn't eat, and it was a horrible situation or it was uncomfortable. So, yeah, I mean that's just the recipe or formula that works for you.
Right.
And when you go from runner to runner, you're gonna find that people have my wife, the same thing. That's what works for her. She has to eat, and then she has to have a little time to let the food settle, and then she's out the door. Me, on the other hand, I don't need to eat necessarily. Sometimes I do if I feel like I'm really just hollow. I might have a banana. I'll always, on a race day, I'll definitely eat. I have to have peanut butter or toast and banana. And but if I'm going out for if I'm meeting people for running, going to run, or I'm going to get out the door and go for a run, I may not necessarily have to. Because I tend to be one of those people who I don't really like to eat too early. I don't know, my stomach's just not ready for it. So I have to wait a little bit. So sometimes, if it's an early run, then I may skip it. But I have to have coffee. I do have to have coffee.
You have to have coffee.
Yeah, I do.
Is it an addiction for you? Is it like your...
I mean, I suppose it is.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, I really, I really like the caffeine in the morning, and I do like my cup of coffee, at least one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll definitely have to get some in before I run. On a race day, I'll skip the cream, and I'll probably will have to eat something a little bit, because I know that I'll need fuel for the race.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That makes sense.
But coffee is definitely a ritual.
Oh yeah. People
So-
love coffee.
Yeah.
We did a whole podcast.
We did a whole podcast about coffee.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
indeed. We'll probably do another one because,
I know, right?
part two.
Mm.
That'll be interesting. As we get into the 90s and hundreds and thousands of these podcasts, we'll probably do part two, the coffee podcast. Part two, the
Right, we'll have to. There's so much info on all that
Yeah.
stuff that how can we cover it in a 30-minute podcast?
Right. Exactly.
We'll have to revisit these
So-
things. But yeah, so for me, for race day is like I have silly rituals that I do. Like I always make sure I have all of my clothes laid out the night before.
Yes.
You
Yeah, I can relate to that
You
totally.
got the shorts laid down, get the singlet laid down. If we pick up the bib number before, get the bib number on
If
there.
I have to-
ready to
yes.
rock. And then I always wear a hat when I race, either a white hat or a pink hat. Used to be a pink hat, switched to a white hat because my pink hat got a little ratty. It's kind of looking gross. But I need a hat.
Forward or backwards? Visor front, visor back.
Good question. I mean, I think sometimes I do it forwards. It depends on the race. If it's like an intense race, then it's backwards. Like if I have to get going. If
Yeah.
it's like I know I'm just gonna kind of breeze through the race, not get after it real hard, then I'll go forwards.
Okay.
It's more of a style thing than it is a function thing. But if it's more like if I'm running slower, I can, put the hat forward. Looks all right, and if I got a race, then I'll flip it around the back.
Yep.
There's been races I've had to flip it mid-race.
You did. Oh, that's when you get when
It's
you're
like,
down
yeah,
business.
turn it on,
Like
you
you
know?
know that this is down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta
Cool.
turn it on.
Oh,
That's
great.
when you know.
That's when you know.
That's
You
when
see
you
him.
know.
Oh my God, he's turning his. I know him. He's turning his head
Oh,
around.
look out!
He's going for it now.
Yeah. So,
That's very dramatic.
but I have to have the hat. So I lay out the hat, singlet, bib number, shorts, socks, shoes,
Yep.
and then I'll put the warm-up outfit to the side. Get that ready.
But close to. You pin the face bib
Until it's
on.
pinned on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I crinkle mine up a little bit.
Oh
I
my
crinkle
God,
it up
I
a
do
little
the
bit.
same thing.
Just because
Yeah,
I think it's better.
forms to the
It
body.
forms to the body, and then I'll pin it on. All four. I do do the 4 pins.
Oh, you gotta do that.
And I make sure it's straight, right? Because
Yeah.
you don't want it to be crooked or over to the side or like that. But yeah,
But the crinkle is key.
it's key. But you know what? Nowadays the crinkle's a little bit hard because they now have the tags on the back.
Yep, I
You know?
crinkle it anyway. I don't give a crap.
Right. 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 You just need to be careful of that spot.
Yeah.
For the timing.
But
When an accurate time.
yeah, tip all the runners out there: crinkle your bib number.
Crinkle the bib number.
4 pins, crinkle the bib number.
Right.
You don't want your bib flapping around. It gets like a sail. Some of these bib numbers are huge. They're like sails.
They are like
If
sails.
the wind's going the wrong direction, you're in trouble.
Yes.
Crinkle that thing up.
Uh-huh. We should take a poll. We should talk to runners and just see if people crinkle them up or if they're not crinkled. Crinkle or not crinkle?
Right.
Let's see.
Do a
I'd be
poll.
curious.
But crinkle's the way to go, in
Yeah.
my opinion. So I crinkle it as well. I definitely do.
I always want to get my things together for race
You
morning.
lay them out before.
Yeah, and if I can get to a packet pickup and get my bib, I will pin it on. And just want to have all this stuff I don't want to be running around and looking for things in the morning. I don't want to have to pin something on in the morning because just
Yeah.
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 When I'm a little bit anxious for a race, my fine motor skills go out the window. So
There's a lot of
I want to
shaking
pin them on.
hands.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So have my watch ready and make sure it's charged up the night before.
Oh, yeah.
Always got to make sure that it's
Yeah.
charged all the way. And
Definitely. And then food on race day is a little bit more important for me. So,
Me too.
I'll have the toast with peanut butter or bagel with peanut butter. Usually, my wife and I are going to the race together, so we'll stop at like a Dunkin' Donuts, hit up a bagel, get a bagel, peanut butter, or just regular butter, and then go to the race and eat it kind of on the way. And then, there's coffee. Gotta have coffee, decaf, but
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you're like this, but I have to use the bathroom like 1,000 times before I race.
Yeah, I tend to have to in the morning a few times.
Like if I don't go to the bathroom before a race, it's brutal.
Yeah, and one of my rituals, I guess, ties into the day of a day of a race more and more. I have to get those. I want to get all the bathroom stuff out of the way before the race, right before I'm on, at this, where the race is, because I don't really want to go into. I'm going to a portal. I'll go into a bathroom at a facility if the race has a facility. We can do that, but I prefer to get it done out of the way because during the warm-up process, when you go to do that, it's just you never know if the porta potties are going to be filled or the lines are really long, and that just adds to the jitters before a race.
Right.
So I hope to get up early enough so that I can get that all out of the way. It's not always the case,
Yeah.
but
You know what one of my rituals is before race is like on my warm up, I'll look for what I call secret bathrooms.
yes, okay,
Yeah.
it's a good thing to do.
Keep my eyes peeled for porta johns that maybe there's like a construction project going on
Yes,
nearby.
right.
They've got the porta johns over here, but there's a construction project. They got a porta john.
Mental
Get
notes.
that thing up. That's
Mental
gonna
notes.
be clean. It's gonna be nobody in it.
Mhm.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta keep your eyes peeled.
Yes, you do. I prefer not to have to go behind a tree, or I don't want to go behind a building or in someone's yard. That's not a good thing to do. It's not proper etiquette. So you look for those secret places,
Yeah.
right? You make mental notes. So
Mhm.
if I can avoid that, going to the bathroom at the race, then I will. I also want to avoid, as you're driving to a race, trying to find the gas station or the Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
But again, it's just one more thing you have to do, pull off and run in. So,
Right.
Yeah.
That can be tough.
So, do you have any mantras or anything like that? Anything you that might be a ritual as far as things that you say to yourself or warm up, length of time for a warm up, or any kind of.
Yeah, usually it'll be like for my warm up, it'll be like a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles
Okay.
at the most, depending on the race distance. But mantras, I don't really do a lot of mantra
Yeah,
things.
because I know some people who say something over and over themselves, or before a race, some things that they always
Yeah.
say just to kind of get themselves excited or into the right.
Yeah. For me, it's
Frame of
mostly
mind.
I try to tell myself to stop thinking, don't think.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. How about you?
Nothing major that I might say over and over again, but I definitely, I sometimes say, beginning of a race, you got this, you got this. I try to, whatever it is, whatever the mantra is, you got this, or you're fast, you're feeling great, It's always something I try to be as positive as possible.
Right.
I don't want any negative thoughts to flow into my brain.
Yeah.
Because it can affect you.
It
And if a
can.
negative thought comes into my brain, then I will push it away with something positive.
Yeah.
You got this. You're strong. You're healthy. You're ready. Right? You're fit.
Yeah,
You've
it's
trained.
probably
That kind of thing.
a better way to do it than to just have it disappear. Turn it into a positive thing.
Yeah.
So if I get a negative thought, it's I try to it goes away. I try to
Yeah.
make it go away.
Exactly.
But I don't turn it into a positive thing. Maybe I should try to do that.
Yeah.
Turn it into a positive thing.
Yeah,
I like
yeah. Meet it or match it with a negative thought with a positive thought.
Do you like visualize your race? Because I do that.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you know the course, you know like who you're running against or whatever, you can kind of play the race out in your head how you think it's gonna go.
Yeah. And I find it's an advantage to actually know the course or run a race that you've run before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so that is actually another ritual, is trying to figure it out, trying to figure out the race. If it's an area that I know, I try to envision it, look at the the course map, and kind of envision at least where I'm going to be, where I'm going. I think if there's a huge advantage, I feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
That way in a race. It's good to do that. So yeah.
Do you have any other rituals you do?
I like to follow, before a race, I always do a dynamic warm-up. So there's certain exercises that I'll do that for me, I think it's more of a physical thing, but maybe it plays into something that's mental, I've gotten used to doing there's a warm-up run, but there are certain stretches that I'll do.
Yeah.
Lunges, forward lunge, side lunge,
Yeah.
a couple of things like that, just to get me warmed up.
The dynamic warm up is super important.
It's super important, So I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after, if it's a race, I like to follow it with after I hydrate, a nice craft brew.
Nice craft brew.
Yeah,
huh?
that's a nice. If
Nice.
you can go to a race that's like a pub series, or afterward if you're serving some, that's a nice hang out with some runners and craft beer, coffee, and just shoot the breeze. Talk about the race.
Talk about the race.
Yeah.
That's a good way to wrap up the day. Well,
That's,
I guess you
that's a
don't
nice
wrap up.
ritual,
Usually races are at 10 o'clock in the morning.
I know, really. Exactly. Hey, this guy is.
Cracking
This
open
guy's a
brews.
saucer, man. You just crack open those brews. So.
That's funny.
But I think that's a good ritual. Do your cool down,
Yep.
a little stretching afterward, hydration, maybe a little snack, and a craft brew and some good company.
Yeah, I do that on my normal runs.
Yeah.
Typically, 7 in the morning, get my run done, stretch, hydrate, and then a craft brew.
Craft brew.
To get the day started.
Yeah. Hey, should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a little break.
We're gonna take a little break.
Yeah, and then when we come back, what are we going to talk about?
Then we're going to talk about things that that irritate you or annoy you on the run. Pet peeves.
Pet peeves.
On the run.
On the run.
We
When
can talk
come
about
back.
that. Yeah. All right. I gotta hit the can, so
Can.
do that.
Good?
Yeah.
All right, we're back.
We're back.
And
We're
we're
back.
talking about pet peeves.
Pet peeves.
Things that bother us
On the
when
run.
we're running.
Whether it's in a race, whether it's on a training run, whether it's on a long run, short run, group of people, non-group of people. What gets you?
There's so many.
There are so
There's
many
so
things.
many things that bother me. You ever been running in a group or with somebody and they're kind of like two-stepping you? Do you know what I mean by two-stepping? Like they're
Is that like line dancing or something?
No,
like
well,
that?
it's not.
Country
they're
western?
not- They're not dancing, but they're like 2 steps ahead of you
Okay.
the whole time.
Okay. And do you feel like this is an intentional thing that becomes like a race or a competition?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
That annoys the crap out of me.
Yeah. And I find if you're trying to stick to a training plan, like if you're doing a tempo run, then maybe that's something, okay, that you might want someone to push you a little bit. But if it's like a long run and you're trying to keep at a certain pace and someone is two-stepping you,
Yeah, I don't need that.
that happens where it becomes like competition.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm
No.
training. This is my training run. It's not race day.
I get
I don't
ya.
want to race you.
I gotcha. Okay, for
That's
sure.
one of the things that bugs me. And then you like kind of know when you're running, like the people you run with, who's like a two-stepper,
Yeah.
and who's not a two-stepper.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
It's
yeah.
a neat running. He's a two-stepper.
That freaking two-stepper.
He's a Clydesdale and he's a two-stepper. Right? He's a kicker.
That guy's a
He
kicker.
kicks in the
He's the
finish.
old sitting
He's
kicker.
the sit and
The
kick.
sitting kicker.
He's a shoulder drooler. He'll just drool on your shoulder for like an entire race and then boom. No. So you don't like the two-stepper?
I don't like the two-stepper, man.
Okay.
It annoys me.
So in a race, I have a difficult time when you're running and you're putting this effort into it and you're breathing hard and you're laboring and then someone's chatting to you.
Oh.
And no offense to people who do that. I know people are doing it to be kind, to be collegial, and to talk, but sometimes it's just, I'm having a hard time breathing and staying focused.
Yep, I've been there, man.
So when you're with a group of people, okay. Even on a train run, okay. But there are people like to chat or they're asking you questions about pace, about time, and I just figure it out. Meet me at the beer tent, or I'll talk to you afterward. We'll have a banana together. I don't know, but yeah, because I can't. I'm laboring. I can't. I'm just not one of those people.
Yeah, oh man, that's happened to me so many
Sorry.
times. It's so annoying.
I mean, I get along with most runners, and really any of these things is, water under the bridge. I don't get too bent out of shape about it, but it's just, I have to say something that is a pet peeve of mine, it's that.
Do you think they're trying to throw you off your game?
I think,
Because that happens to me. If someone's doing that to me, I get
Yeah.
all out of whack.
yeah.
And it throws me off my game,
And-
and they're kicking my ass.
I think that, yes, sometimes that is what that person is doing, but then I think on the other hand, there are those people who are just chatty in a race.
Mhm.
They do that.
Yeah.
And I've observed other people in race situations out there who are talking to each other, and it's just they're strategizing. So I think it's partly, yes, they're trying to throw you off, and partly, that's just they're chatting.
Yeah.
Or like that. Some people are just so social, and they do like to chat. So some people are doing, but that's, for them, that helps them. So, but anyway, yeah. So I was talking to my wife, and she was telling me that she hates wet socks. It really bothers her.
That sounds awful.
It is pretty irritating. I usually roll it, but it is pretty irritating.
They can make blisters and things happen.
It
too.
could create blisters for sure, and discomfort. My feet were totally soaked yesterday on the run when I was sloshing around in the snow in the woods. I was okay with it, but she doesn't like it at all.
Wet socks.
It can happen real easily too. So,
You know what bothers me?
well,
I don't know. Has this ever happened to you where say you're running along the bike path? It's not, I don't want to make it sound like it's the other runner's fault, but you're coming up on a runner
yes.
and you have to go by them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like a little bit, I don't like that awkwardness.
That's an awkward situation. Yeah. So you're running along. Someone's ahead of you.
They're running at a slightly slower pace than you, so you're eventually going to catch up to them. And yeah, you try to be friendly, give them a hey, what's up, how you doing? But I always feel slightly bad about it.
Yeah, it's awkward socially. You feel a little uncomfortable about it. You're running past somebody and they're coming towards you. You just wave. But yeah, what do you do when you're passing somebody out? I don't really. It's funny. I don't usually make eye contact because I feel a little bit uncomfortable about it. But I will go by and I'll try to say if they're not wearing earbuds and they can hear me, I might say something positive like, hey, keep going, looking good, looking
Yeah.
good. Or I'll give them a fist pump. I'll do that a lot.
Fist
And they
pump.
probably think I'm a weirdo or something like that.
Like, what do you mean I'm looking good? Who are you?
Yeah, who are you? Whoa, you looking good. Who are you? You just threw me off. I was in the zone, you ran by me. You're running by me. You think you're like a gazelle or something. Yeah, I know.
Oh, goodness. I've actually scared some people.
I've scared people too. That's why I always try to
feel
give.
bad.
I know. I feel badly about that. That's an awkward situation, and I'll usually try to sniff or cough or something like that.
Me too, yeah. Yep, I'll do that. I'll do a little.
Or heavy footfalls, because I don't want to say on your left or on your right or something like that. But that's probably the most probably the etiquette.
Right, you just go on your left.
On your left or coming up, and I will, for some reason, maybe it's a passive aggressive thing, but I'll cough or something, sniff. And then I'll try to give them a little extra wide berth, if I can, just because I don't want to come right up on them and scare the crap out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I run up and I go, boo, and then
Yeah. Got a couple of backhands in that situation. That's right. No, that's tough. That is an awkward
that's
situation.
an awkward one, man. It's tough. That's a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Sometimes I'll go on like the opposite side of the road just to avoid.
I
the
will do that too,
situation.
for sure, for sure. Oh, do you ever have a situation where someone's, well, you probably don't, but do you ever have a situation where someone comes up on you and runs by you? No. You're such a speed demon, man. No one ever passes you out.
I'm trying to think of it.
Except trucks, people in cycles.
I'm like, yeah, cyclists and stuff. I'm sure I've had runners go by me at some point in my life. I just
Yeah.
don't remember. How about you? You're fast too, so you probably don't have that.
I can't recall that, but usually,
I bet it's,
I don't mind that. I mean, it happens, but I don't mind that
You know,
too much.
I would find it annoying. I think.
So most of the things like these that I'm talking about are kind of mild, like
Annoyances?
pet peeves, annoyances, or irritations. But I want to say a major annoyance or pet peeve is, it's the car thing.
Oh, dude.
It's the safety thing. It's the person who's flying down the road who's just greasing your hip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're almost hitting you, and I have to say, and I try to just brush it off, but I do not like it when someone shouts at me. You know?
Oh, yeah. Do
Yeah,
you
like-
feel rage? Do you feel like a rage?
I feel
build up?
enraged. I really do. Yeah, I do, and I have to really bite my tongue.
Did you give him the bird?
I've done it before. I don't like. I have to admit, I'm not gonna lie. I have, but I try not to do that. I try not to do it. Yeah, the run forest run is, okay, ha ha ha. But just like sometimes when you're in the zone and you're having a good run, or even if a bad run, you're just laboring through it. The last thing you want to hear is some like goofball just shouting at you, or even like shouting at you is one thing, but like almost hitting you, not even looking at you, looking down, and they're texting or whatever.
Right.
It's just like, come
Cars, man.
on, I know.
People driving. Pay attention.
And what you want to do, I mean, the right thing to do is to just brush it off and go on your way, because you don't want to make it worse for some other runner, right? So if you give somebody the bird or you shout at them, then all runners are annoyances,
Right.
and then that, like, it could affect how they treat somebody else down the road, which might be a good friend of yours or a neighbor or anyone.
Yeah. You don't want
so-
that. I can't wait till these cars drive themselves, man.
Yeah, when they drive themselves, you're gonna have to worry about that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to worry about it.
No, people will be like texting on their phones,
Yeah.
and the car will just be zip right by you.
Right.
And it will give you a
And
good amount of space.
Might even slow down,
It'll
give you a good
slow
amount of
down.
space,
Yeah.
stop and wait for
You gotta talk
oncoming
to-
traffic to go around you.
Talk to that Elon Musk.
Elon Musk has to
Get
start.
him on that stuff.
Yeah, right.
Let's go, bro.
Yep. So,
Yeah, cars are annoying. You know what else annoys me? Wintertime, people not shoveling their sidewalks, that annoys me.
yeah, because it's, you're already losing some space on the road,
Yep.
and then you gotta go to the sidewalk, and if the sidewalk's not clear, you've got ice and snow that you have to contend with, and it's dangerous, it's
Yeah.
rough.
Clear that stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's it's tricky because then like today you'll get the frozen footprints and then you end up snapping your ankle off.
Yeah, and that snow gets matted down and it ices up and it's hard to deal with. Yeah, that is annoying. It's irritating. No offense to anybody who's listening, and it's just something that's just an irritant or pet peeve. I love dogs, by the way. I love them. I have a dog, and she's a sweet gal. It's just I have a tough time if I'm on the road and somebody's dog is loose in the yard and comes running at me. We've talked about this in other podcasts, but, and then because you just never know if that dog is friendly. I can't always tell, and
Oh, but they're always friendly, right?
they're always friendly.
They're
and-
always, don't worry, he's friendly.
Oh, he's friendly. I don't know that. A German Shepherd comes running at me from across the road because I have to cross over and to be away from the dog because I'm not sure, and then the dog runs at me and it's just jumping up me and it's growling and I don't know. And I know people who've been bitten.
Yeah, I get
Right?
it.
I know, I've got nipped at
day,
too.
You know?
Yeah, you never really know. And then you're on a trail and a dog is loose and someone takes them off their leash when they're not supposed to take them off their leash because there are regulations in this particular park that says you have to have your dog on a leash, and people will take them off the leash and that dog runs up to you and it jumps up on you. You don't know.
No.
So I guess, yeah, I'm a dog lover. I understand you want your dog off your leash, but it's just, you don't know.
You You don't
You
know.
don't know.
It happened to me the other day. I was running down by Narragansett Beach, Scarborough Beach, Scarborough.
Scarborough?
And I was running along, and then these like three like kind of pit bull looking dogs come
Yeah.
running up the stairs down from the beach, and they're just running, and there's nobody around, and my boy and I are like, what the heck's going on? And yeah, some lady comes up, oh, they're friendly, don't worry, they're friendly, and then one of them comes up, just bite me right on the calf.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's friendly, but I'm running and he wants to eat my leg off, so he's not that friendly.
Right.
You know, I try to, like, typically what I'll do is I'll just keep running and I'm like, whatever, I don't care. But at some point you're gonna be like, put your dog on a leash.
I feel like I want to say something, and I never do. I
Yeah.
never do. I think one time I said, well, someone said he's friendly, and I said, well, I don't know that. And I was just kept running. There was one time where I said that, and that was a couple months back. And it was around the corner from my house, too, like in another neighborhood. So, you know, I don't want to make waves with anybody for sure. But,
That's funny, my wife is like, she'll say something.
oh, good for her.
She gets all
My wife
fired
would say
up.
something, too.
Yeah, she gets fired up. She'll
Good
like,
for
put
her.
your dog on a leash.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, all right. But she gets fired up. I don't blame her though. I mean, come on, man.
Right.
Leash your dog up.
They should dog up. And actually, I've seen dogs just like run across the road without even looking, and I mean, it's dangerous for them too.
Right.
They're gonna get hit by a
They could get
car.
hit by a Mack truck.
Yep.
And
Right.
then what? And then your dog's smushed.
Right. Goodbye,
Shouldn't have
dog.
him on a leash.
Right, exactly. You didn't do that. So
I don't want that. Took a sad turn.
it's a sad turn.
You know, we're talking about running and it's up the smushed dog.
Yeah. Don't want that.
We don't want that.
Don't.
Any other pet peeves, Red?
Pet peeves. Well, I mean, I certainly don't like chafing. That's a pet peeve.
That's
I use Body Glide for that reason.
Yeah.
Good product, man. Yeah, chafing.
Chafing.
In any shape or form, in any place, it's rough.
Chafing's awful. Yeah.
So there's that for sure.
Yeah. I hate chafing.
Yep. Wind.
Wind.
Running into
Running
wind.
into the wind.
Running with the wind. Especially in the winter, you get a cold wind. Icy cold wind chill of -2. It's just
Yeah, on a windy day too, it always seems to be coming at you.
always. You know, and I always get fooled when I'm running out. Like, oh, cool, I'm got a headwind now. I'm doing it out and back. When I come back, or I turn this
Tailwind.
corner, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna have a tailwind. Nope.
Nothing. Yeah, it's like a tornado.
I
following
can't.
you.
Exactly.
Way.
It just shifts, and I feel like, you know, the wind isn't alive, but I feel like it's evil. I personify the wind and say, he's trying to do this to me, or she's trying to do this to me. Trying to blow in. Headwind. I can't remember the last time I had a tailwind.
I don't think
I can't remember. I don't think I've ever had a tailwind.
No.
One time in a race, but you know, to get to that tailwind, I had to go through like some of the worst like conditions of my life as far as wind is concerned on a race.
Wind. Wind.
Wind.
stinks.
Wind
I
stinks.
hate rain too. You know what I hate? 34 degrees and rainy.
Yeah. Torrential downpours.
That's a pet peeve of mine.
34. I know.
34 and rainy.
Because it's so cold.
But I'd rather just have snow.
At that point,
You know, at 30,
At that
maybe
point.
32. Give me some snowflakes. At least it's pretty.
it is pretty. You can enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it just feels different. But it's a much different
34
experience.
and rainy is awful.
Right.
Forget it.
Yeah.
I'm not running. I'm staying inside.
Stay inside. I'm curling up with
Nice
a glass
book.
of wine and a nice book. I'm gonna lie on that bearskin rug by a fire instead of going out and running in that crap. Humidity. That irritates me.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who likes to run in humidity. Some people, I guess, but
They're crazy. Those people are nuts.
no offense, folks. No offense.
If you
We
like
love
it,
you.
Yeah, I love you, but you're nuts. Humidity. Ugh.
Look at where, you know, there are a lot of things that can, like, we're suddenly finding and discovering that can be annoying on the run. Pet peeves.
Yeah, you know what else? If you tied one of your shoes a little tighter than the other shoe.
And then you have to, along the way, you have to stop.
Oh, man.
Stop mid-run, put your foot up on a fire hydrant to tighten up the shoe.
And then you tighten one shoe and now the other one's too loose and you
Yeah.
gotta tighten that one back up and it's a process.
Totally annoying. Do you have a tough time when the tongue of your shoe slides down inside the
Yeah.
shoe?
Dude, you know what I had one? I had one time the insole on my shoe slid out the back.
I had that happen before. It only happened to one pair of shoes that I had, but it happened all the time.
Yeah.
I hated that.
It stinks.
You're running along and you got this floppy, your shoe, your sock liner's flopping out of the back of your shoe.
Unbelievable.
It's kind of comical, but it's annoying when you're on the run.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the tongue sliding, awful. Hate it.
Yep.
It's the worst. How about when your GPS watch is like wildly inaccurate?
Wildly inaccurate, or keep losing your signal.
That stinks.
Especially like in a race or a run where you're trying to really you're paying attention. You have to do like a certain amount of miles or minutes, and yeah.
I've had that happen in Philly in the marathon.
Did it
Just
come?
dropped out. It dropped out, and it came back. But like when I looked at the map after, it had us run down like a completely different road than we actually ran down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like way off the whole race.
That's a technology pet peeve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
technology.
Technology.
Yuck.
When your technology goes, it could be on the run. It could be really, really irritating. That would be like one of the big things. Or I don't usually listen to music, but when the times that I do, like on a treadmill, I might put my earbuds on.
Yeah.
When it's sweating, you slip out.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of a run. If
slipping
you're
out
on a treadmill and you start messing around to try to get your earbuds back in, you trip,
you can trip.
lose your balance and trip, and that's easy to happen.
For sure. I think earbuds falling out is one of my biggest pet peeves. That's
Yeah.
gotta be one
That's
of the top
terrible.
man. It's up there.
Yeah.
And then the flopping.
Flopping.
Forget it.
Yes.
Yuck.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pet peeves, man.
A lot of pet peeves, and we all have them. I think it's good to talk about them among fellow runners, get it out there, because it can be very comical. Because I'm enjoying this right now. It's very funny as
It's
we
fun,
talk
yeah.
about it. To look back on these things in the run, in the moment, they're irritating, but it's kind of funny to talk about, with a group of runners.
Sure.
And you'll find, like, if you talk to enough of them, you'll find some pretty interesting pet peeves and rituals too.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, today we covered a bunch of stuff. We covered
Bunch
some
of stuff.
rituals, race day and while you're running,
Yeah.
and then we got our pet peeves in there. That's a good podcast.
I think it was good. I enjoyed myself.
We wrap this sucker up.
We're gonna wrap this sucker up, and we'll move on. And this was episode 13, by the way.
Episode 13.
Lucky number
Lucky
13.
number, is
Yeah.
13 lucky number? I thought that
No,
was.
it's not. But we could turn it into a.
Let's do that, because
yeah.
13 is an unlucky number. Maybe we just skip it like an elevator.
We should.
We'll
We
skip
did-
13.
Is this 14? Is this episode 14?
Technically be 14.
Like a floor, like a hotel. There's no
There's no
13th
13th
floor.
floor. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so do we have any ideas what we want to talk about next week?
We've
or-
got plenty of ideas. We always have ideas. It's just which ones to
one
talk
we
about.
pick, Right.
So we'll
We'll work it out.
We'll let you know what it is,
Yeah,
folks.
totally.
We'll keep you on the edge of your seat thinking about what the next podcast is going to be about.
Yeah. So we'll wrap it up and we'll have you tune in next week when we talk about who knows what.
Who knows what? We talk about everything. We're going to talk about all things running. So, yeah. Cool, folks.
Good stuff.
Keep it rolling. Keep it running.
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Keep it rocking.
And keep on rocking.